Right hand, left hand, and I don't think he's going to get up. I think it's all over. I think it's over. Is he going to get up? Can he get up? Can he get up? He does. Oh my goodness. Somehow Fury has managed to get up.
If you haven't already, please also subscribe to us on Apple, Spreaker and Spotify. Just type in Brawl Boxing and you'll find us there. Thank you.
Hello folks and welcome back to the Brawl Boxing podcast. I'm Kieran McCourt and we're joined by co-hosts Colin McGuigan and Ram McLaughlin. I just want to start by giving a shout out to our amazing sponsor CBD Uplift. They provide the best CBD products on the market, including oil, gummies and capsules. I've actually tried the products myself and I can genuinely say they're the best CBD I've ever had, especially the gummies. I'd seriously recommend anyone. If you use our discount code BRAWL20, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. So thanks a million, lads.
We're delighted to be in partnership with Heavy Hitters Water Punch Bags. Heavy Hitters are one of the world's leading aqua punch bag suppliers, and they're fast becoming a well-known brand within the boxing and fitness community in the UK and Europe. Heavy Hitters punch bags are great for improving your technique as they're soft on your hands, therefore allowing you to train longer and harder with less damage compared to a traditional punch bag. The product is great for building strength and fitness and is fast becoming a favourite piece of equipment in many gyms up and down the country in improving their members' cardio. We have personally been sent the products by Heavy Hitters and we can vouch for them in what they say. They say that these punch bags are the best on the market. So for your chance to grab one of these awesome punch bags, use our exclusive Brawl Boxing code on the Heavy Hitters website. The link is in the description below. Use the code BRAWL15 and that'll give you 15% off all orders over £50. So guys, today's we're launching the Matchroom Diaries, which we Chancellor Armat and pitched to Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith. Frank probably knew less about it than Eddie because we actually spoke to him about it on the pod. But every few months we'll have one of them on to discuss all things Matchroom or Dazn. And first up joining us today is CEO and Director of Matchroom, Mr. Frank Smith. Frank, how are you doing, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. Very well. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Thanks a million for coming back on, Frank. We're delighted.
No, anytime. You pestered Eddie for so long. I'm just impressed you got him. You didn't get a restraining order on him.
That was a momentous occasion. We weren't giving up until we got him, so we were very close to turning up at his gaff.
I mean, that would have been impressive. You could have done a live one from his house.
Well, that's in the works. I've been speaking to him about that. So that's the next one that we're doing at Matchroom HQ with him, but to be confirmed.
To be fair, Eddie did know more about this than me. So when you first sent it to me and I saw the poster, I was like, Matchroom Diaries, bloody hell.
Do you know what? I was half thinking, like, is this actually real or have we just made this up and just put it straight there?
No, I
messaged
Colin. I messaged Colin because I like do the post on social media and I messaged Colin going, does Frank definitely know about this? Or we could sound like champions. Incorporated him into this.
Yeah, no, I think in my first message to Frank, I said it. So obviously then Eddie knew about it because we pitched it to him and he agreed to it. So there was no going back.
Frank, you're in.
We're up. Don't worry, we're up for anything.
Frank, I just want to address the elephant in the room, right? Last time you were on, you had serious, luscious, long locks, Bradley Cooper-esque. And I feel like you've disrespected me here because I'm absolutely struggling, as you know. And you've cut them to waist and now you've went for the new look. Talk us through it.
There was a bit of my missus doesn't like my Bradley Cooper-esque locks. She says I'm too lazy to do anything with them. So she said she wanted me to go back to a buzz cut, which I thought this was the middle ground, which he also hates this. So, you know.
Does she?
I think you've got a Zac Efron look about you now.
Zac Efron. Thank you.
Yeah.
From Bradley Cooper to Zac Efron, not bad.
I think I prefer Bradley Cooper, to be honest.
I'm just making sure Matchroom Diaries keeps going on. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to keep complimenting you for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, we'll just compliment you.
Or Tom Hardy.
It was a cracking photo of you getting out of a car. I think was it in Gibraltar or something?
Yeah.
And it was like proper. It was like the Italian job. I was like, that is the coolest photo I've ever seen.
Do you know what? I got so much stick for that picture. Eddie just basically screenshot. Whenever I post a picture now, he just screenshots it into our group. Like, who is this geezer? Embarrassing. So, but obviously, you can't say anything about any of his terrible pictures. So.
The one on the boat, the famous video on the boat.
Yeah, I
What's both of you?
I don't think I was there. That was a fat double act of me, I think.
Frank, since we last had you on, there's been obviously a lot of seismic changes, like in Matchroom. How have the last few months been for you?
Yeah, good. Really, you know, it's an exciting period. We've obviously we've been with Sky for a long time now, we've been with Sky for close to, I think it was something like 25 years in boxing. The last 10 years that I've been involved have been a great journey. I think you always look back at the years that we've done and you'd always think, can it get bigger than this? And, like you look back to, I don't know, Froch Groves in 2013 or 2014, then Joshua Klitschko 2017. And then just where the business has gone and where the shows have gone, the sport has got to, it's been a great journey. And I think now we're on a new path with Dazn with a global vision to really grow the sport of boxing. And it gives you sort of a new lease of life to try and push on, because we've got to make a success out of this. And we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't believe in the product. We've had a great partnership with Dazn for 3-4 years in the boxing business, and we believe it really is the way people are digesting content now. So yeah, a lot's changed, but all positive, and it's a real exciting time for the business. And for me personally, I can't wait to see what the next 5 years brings.
The deal you actually get on Dazn is completely mental. Like, I'm not sure I heard Eddie say it's like 60p a week, and for the shows that you actually get on it, it's like unheard of. And it's like, people will probably still try and find a way to complain about a show or a stacked card.
100%.
No, but I think you get to, obviously not everyone's going to be happy with everything. You just have to, in any walk of life. And I think we boxing fans, more than anyone, everyone's got their own opinion as to what's good, what's not, what's good value. Like you say, during fight camp, the price is 66 pence a week for the 3 weeks of boxing. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure in due course, more details will come out around pricing, because naturally, in order to make businesses work, this is really the introductory offer that they've kept in place for fight camp. They've had it since they launched in December, the global platform, but it's great value. And Dazn have backed boxing, and I think for real boxing fans, it's the best platform out there.
100%. You said there about, like, a lot of people obviously aren't going to be happy with the move and stuff. I take it Adam Smith was around throwing eggs at your window.
Has he unfollowed you yet on Instagram?
What's that?
Has he unfollowed you on Instagram yet?
No one's unfollowed me. No one's unfollowed me on Instagram. Now look, we get on. We get on well with Adam. The whole Sky Boxing team. We've still got a relationship with AJ fighting. Very likely Usyk later this year on Sky. So, and also our whole business. Take away just boxing from what Matchroom do. We've got 10 different sports. Darts is a big part of the Sky output, our other multi-sports as well. So, we've had a long-standing relationship with them, and it will continue to grow, I'm sure, across the other sports. But no, we're all still cordial.
So, see, just on that, is the Joshua thing, is it going to be then he can constantly like fights on Sky, or is he going to be over on Dazn then at some point, or is that to be confirmed?
Look, it's public knowledge he's got that single fight left. And he will be led by AJ as to the route he wants to take. Sky have been a great long-term partner of his. Been with him from his professional debut. But he'll, I'm sure, have his views on what he wants to do. He's got this fight coming up. He's sole focused. He's a true professional, AJ. His focus will be on this fight and going out there doing a job against Usyk, delivering for his partner in Sky. Dazn have taken a number of his fights they took his last fight globally as well. So, that's a discussion that I'm sure will be had after this, but core focus right now on this upcoming Usyk, Usyk fight.
I was actually on the phone to AJ last night. He was saying Frank Warren's came in for him. And he was
Did he? Yeah. Let me stay there. Let me just text him and see. There used to be a joke when I started. So with all the young fighters, when I was growing up, and I'd started at Matchroom, I always said I'm going to set up Mushroom Boxing to replace Matchroom Boxing. So, unfortunately, the name never really took off, and the business faded away.
If you need 3 pundits, we're here for Mushroom Boxing.
Mushroom Boxing, yeah.
We're all
great four-ball that.
So, Frank, since we last had you on, I think you've done 3 Canelo fights.
Yeah.
which is absolutely mental in that period of time. Talk to us about those experiences. What was Dallas like?
Yeah, no, Dallas, 73,000 people. We had we had the Miami show before that, and then, we had San Antonio with Callum Smith. He's been great to deal with. He's a true professional. I think when people know how good their ability and their star power, they're actually easier to deal with because they know they deliver. And, Canelo really has delivered. And, he sort of reminds me of AJ in many ways in terms of they're quite clearly two of our biggest clients that we work with. And actually, they're so dedicated to their sport that they know how big they are in terms of commercially. They know what they do for the sport. That they're easy to deal with. They're just happy. And the best, they're the best people we work with, is people that sort of trust us to go out and do our job, and deliver the events, because that's what we do. But yeah, it's been a real pleasure working with him and his team. He's got a great team. He hasn't got a huge team around him, but a great group of people. And it's really taken our US business to the next level. We've been launched in the US for 3 or 4 years now, but having Canelo just for the brand, everything he's brought along has been great. And yeah, it's added some real moments and memories to the shows we put on.
Yeah, that whole event, sorry, at Dallas was like from the ring walk down to everything. It was just like, and that was the first time fans were really back in it for attendance, wasn't it? And just to see that, I think even though it was in Dallas, I think it gave the whole country a lift, because I think everybody here in the UK was watching it. Like, and that's obviously down to you and Eddie. How much pride does that sort of make you have, putting that event on, especially during all this?
It was the highest capacity, wasn't it? Post.
Yeah. So highest capacity post COVID, and I think something like NASCAR came along after that and nicked it. But we'll just pretend that COVID ended and we got the highest capacity.
Who watches NASCAR anyway? Come on here.
You know what? Let's just pretend it didn't happen. But no, to have that many people in there, after everything that's gone on, it was it was a real proud moment. And to be fair, the team, we got a great team of people that put these events together, and they did an unbelievable job. I'd like to say it was all me, but I'm not. I'm a shy, retiring one, so I'm happy to say, we've got a great team. Like I say, great team of people, great group of people who work on these events and really take it to the next level, because that event was like nothing you've ever really seen in terms of the show. Even the one before that, when we had J Balvin in Miami, the fireworks show, and that's just what we try and do. It's very easy for us to go, do you know what? We're the best and the biggest boxing promoters out there, which I believe we are, but not in an arrogant way, but I just believe no one comes close to us. But it would be very easy just to go, right, let's do what we do, leave it all the same way. But, we're always trying to improve, always trying to take it to that next level. And I don't think, in terms of a show, there's not many events I can think that came close to that. I've been lucky to go to a lot of different sporting events, even sports that I don't have interest in, but I have interest in going to events and seeing the way people do things. And, as a sort of stepping back and to look at what was created, it was something quite special.
Yeah. The way you always have like sort of the best seats in the house, obviously you're ringside at every fight or whatever, and you must just get used to that. Like if we were sitting ever ringside at a fucking local show, even, it's like, it's a buzz because you're ringside, do you know what I mean? But you would obviously be used to that. But see, when it's events like that, do you still get the sort of hair stand up in the back of your neck, like?
Yeah, completely. I think even more so now than I used to, because back in the day, like I used to do a lot more running around at events back in the day. Now I just turn up and pretend that I did some work. But no, now, like it's quite easy to not realize the scale of things. Like when you're so close to it, it's quite easy just to walk in and go, right, done this, get it out of the way, and it's midnight and the event's over with. But I remember probably like 3 years ago, I started thinking you got to actually appreciate what you create. And that's the same on the ones that don't go so well. Don't get me wrong, not every show we've done has been a great success and we've sold out, but it's good to have those moments sometimes where you go, right, that wasn't good enough. But on both sides you have the highs and the lows, and that's that's where we're lucky to have those moments where, you know, like you say, hairs stand on the back of your neck and you go, bloody hell, look at this. We put this together. And to go, I don't want this to ever end. And I only want it to get bigger and bigger, and keep trying to come up with those ways of making it bigger.
Do you and Eddie ever just nudge each other and be like, we are the fucking Dons? Like,
no, he does. That's my main role now. I just have to every now and then sort of bow and say, you've done it. No, but I put out a post actually when we were in Texas for that show. We stood on the ring walk stage and we took a picture. And I said, do you remember when we kicked this all off? And I remember we did our first US show, right? So we were doing a Golden Boy event, somewhere where the fighter on the card, and we signed Danny Jacobs. And the day we signed Danny Jacobs, we were in or like the week after, we'd done the pictures and had announced it live on HBO. And then we got in the car afterwards, and this was 7 weeks before the show we were doing with Danny Jacobs. And Eddie was flying home, and he turned around to me and went, good luck, go and make it happen, like that. And I'd never done. I don't know, I must have been 24, 20, and I'm thinking,
my God,
how'd you do this? But I think that was a moment in Texas where I sort of said to him, look how far we've come. and it's not, but it's never been, I think because we just want to keep growing and we're enjoying it. You know, it's hard work, but I would never complain about it because I'm very lucky to do it. But sort of because we enjoy it so much, you don't want it to end. So you never sort of sit back and go, just want a couple of hours off, because once you do that, then you've sort of given up a little bit. But it's just constant, and it's constantly looking at how we can keep growing, how we can keep building. And, you know, now the big thing for us is we've proven what we can do, and we will keep doing that. But how then can we replicate that in other territories and other markets?
Yeah, it's actually ridiculous how quickly you have grown. Because like when you were entering, like you should absolutely crack UK boxing, like everyone knew that. But obviously the big dogs like Golden Boy and Top Rank and stuff. I remember even discussing with the boys in the group chat when you announced you one for USA. They were like, "Fuck, do you reckon it will work? Like, would you reckon they'll even get Eddie's humor? Will they find him?"
I said it would work, Frank. You know what I mean? I was saying it would work.
I always do it. Everyone on this chat with you.
But we were like, because the likes of Top Rank and Golden Boy are so like, they're cornerstones of boxing in America. Like, how do you go over and knock them off the perch? And like the British humor is different than the American humor.
They still don't get his humor, by the way.
Yeah.
No, they definitely don't.
He still does some press conferences, and he says something, and you go, "Whoa, that one didn't go."
Do you know what though? Like, it upsets me because that type of humor is the best. I suppose it's just because we're obviously from here, but like the American, I would think Americans would find that absolutely hilarious because it's so brand new to them, but they probably feel like it's insulting. But like over here, I feel like if you insult each other, you like each other even more.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably, it's either a character trait or fault. I don't know. You know, maybe it's not such a good thing. But I think that for us, like you were saying about Golden Boy, Top Rank, you know, no one really wanted us to obviously succeed. You know, but it's only the same as what we did in the UK in terms of, we didn't just walk in the UK and go click our fingers and we've taken over. But it took a period of 3 or 4 years. Maybe we thought because of what we'd already done in the sport, it would be a little bit quicker in the US when we went there. But eventually, we've, you know, sort of the job we've done has worked because we're now working with the biggest star. You know, everyone wants, Canelo is the biggest active star in the US, like that anyone would want to sign. But we, the Brits who have come over and, you know, sort of tried to take over the boxing market in the US, are now working with Canelo. And, you know, he's put a lot of faith and trust in us. And I think he's seen what we can deliver. Like, don't get me wrong, I think we're on another level to anyone else within boxing in the US market. You know, I'm not going to put anyone down because they've all done great things. But I just think we've shown over a period of time that we can consistently deliver. And, you know, like I say, Canelo joining and working with us has been a great story for us and great for building the business. And like I say, no one wanted us to succeed, and no one still wants to. Everyone wants you to fail. Of course they do.
Oh no, us three want you to succeed. We definitely want you to succeed.
This is always.
You've got the Matchroom diaries.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
It wouldn't be much of a. It wouldn't be many diaries if we didn't have any shows, would it?
I think that the bridges have well and truly been burnt with Frank Warren. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. He actually rejected to come on after listening to our first episode, Frank. Believe it or not. Yeah. Said he was badly spoke of by Kieran there, so didn't want to come on. So we'll have to take it.
I mean,
we're talking Matchroom, man. That's the end of it.
I don't think Frank's putting on 75,000. Sorry, Frank Warren's putting on 75,000 in America. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely that.
I'm saying I actually met Frank Warren for the first time ever a couple of months, about a month ago. I bumped into him at a hotel. Yeah.
Well, did you talk about AJ Fury?
It was actually the day the day after it all went wrong.
You're a
my God.
But he was very pleasant. I can't say a bad word about him.
Yeah. Have Eddie and Frank ever met yet? Because they were going to, weren't they? Were going for a sit down and it turned sour again.
I don't think so. They were supposed to meet, and a couple of days before they were supposed to meet, Eddie miraculously came up with COVID.
Oh,
exclusive.
Paradise.
No, he did have COVID, yeah. But I remember that because it was such. Do you remember it was so much building up to them two meeting, and for it then not to happen. I bet you probably didn't believe him when he said, "I've caught COVID."
I can imagine them two walking in that cafe and then Johnny Nelson and nowhere pulling a stool up in between both.
That's how you know Eddie didn't have COVID, because if he did, he definitely would have came and give it to Frank. Like,
wow, that's not going far.
So Frank, tell us, you've just announced the fight camp sort of, what is it, the series or whatever. We're probably most excited for Tommy McCarthy and Chris Billum-Smith, because like we're friends with Tommy and stuff. Is there any fights on the card that you're most excited for?
Yeah, look, it's a stacked card. You know, I can't wait. I just can't wait to be back in the garden with it. I'm so glad because it went so well last year.
Us too, yeah. We can't wait to be there.
Yeah, no, I know, but maybe we'll find half a seat somewhere. I'm looking forward to it all. I think Buatsi-Bolotniks is a great fight as well. You know, I think Buatsi's really, I think he's learning a lot under Virgil Hunter, and I think it's going to be a test for him. And I think a test he needs. I am looking forward to Galahad Dickens. I think that's a real good fight. Prodan against Florian Marku. I love that fight, the welterweight fight. So there's 23 fights on the card. And young talent as well. You got Campbell Hatton back, you got Johnny Fisher, Scotney's back. There's so much talent on the cards. And I just think I can't wait to see the improvements from last year in terms of the show, the production, even just having a few hundred people back in there, the atmosphere that's going to create as well.
Is that all it's going to be? A few hundred, yeah?
Yeah, we're probably looking at about 400 to 500 people in total. Otherwise we'd be finding people in the house on the Monday afternoon who'd come to the show. They'll still be there.
In Eddie's bath.
Admin work in the office. No, but I think it is originally a home, an old house, so it's and the grounds. We just got to be mindful of the amount of people we can get there. But there's been a lot of work and effort put into that. Like I say, the production, we're really going to take it to the next level this time. And last year there was so much excitement around it because we hadn't had anything, had we really? And anything that had come back was just the same, but without crowds. This was something a bit different. With these wacky nutters in Essex put a tent up in the garden and put some fights on. And ultimately, what was great about it as well was the fights delivered. It was 3 weeks of great fights. And hopefully, and I'm sure they will be, we'll see another 3 weeks of cracking fights this time round.
We can't wait for Frank. Now, one fighter I want to speak to you about is Ebony Bridges. So Ebony came into, came out of nowhere really, and no one really knew who she was at the point. You took a chance on her, and in terms of her promotion, self-promotion, it's ridiculous. She went from no one to everyone knows who she is now. And in terms of her fight with Courtney as well, it lived up. It was a great fight. Is that something that you've obviously been happy with? It's came along for you because at the beginning you probably took a chance on her in that fight with Courtney, and obviously it's paid off.
Yeah, it was a great fight, and great win for Shannon Courtney, to win that world title as well, and she'll be defending obviously on Fight Camp. But yeah, Ebony is she's a promoter. She's done, like you say, she's done it herself, and she knows what the fans want. And in boxing, that's what you need. You need characters who are going to go out and sell themselves. So yeah, she's done an unbelievable job to get to where she is. And she put up a real strong fight against Shannon that night. It was back and forth, wasn't it? Throughout, you saw her eye was like out here, and yeah, she's built a big following.
And if they both come through it, could they meet each other again? Do you think?
Never say never. You never know. I mean, I think she's going to focus on some other fights. Shannon obviously wants to defend her world title and then probably look to unify it as well. So maybe down the line, that's something that could happen.
Yeah, I love it again.
Yeah. Like we touched. Sorry, but Siri's just popped up on my laptop there when I was talking.
Hello, Siri.
We'll just edit that bit out.
bring up Ryan's internet search history.
Oh, scenes.
Are you trying to get us kicked off the internet here?
My missus isn't here. We're all right to bring it up. But we touched on it earlier about the stadium shows. And now, obviously, we're going back to obviously the Eddie's back garden. Basically, would that give you still the exact same buzz? Because I suppose like everyone can't wait for them to come back. And obviously it's going to be 3 weeks and we're all buzzing for it. See, for you, for that buzz that you get, will that still be there, do you think? Yeah,
no, completely, because it's something different. It's you're creating something in a venue that really isn't, it's not a traditional.
Your office is looking onto the ring.
Yeah, I'll be back in my office sitting on my laptop while the fights are going.
That's where we could sit.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I think maybe where I'm probably guilty in the past is we do, as we know, we do 40 to 44 shows a year, and Eddie and I will go to every single show, mainly because we're nutters. And in my case, I think my missus prefers when I'm away most weekends. But I tend to, there's so much work going on. Sometimes at shows, I sit on my laptop and have email because there's so much to do. I'm probably guilty sometimes of not actually embracing enough of the event myself because I've got so many other bits and pieces going on. Maybe.
Sorry, bring up Frank's internet history, please. Sorry.
I don't have internet on my laptop. It's emails. But no, I do. I get excited. What excites me is putting on shows, putting on events. That for me is what excites me the most, and I think that's what we've done as a business is put on great nights, because ultimately when you tune into something, if you turn over and it's just it's like the old days, you turn over, it's in a leisure centre and there's some basketball courts in the background, it looks horrendous. I'm not going to keep tuned in. It doesn't matter who's fighting. Once I turn over and there's a basketball court there and you're in a leisure centre and there's 50 people in the venue and chairs empty, obviously social distancing different, but chairs empty everywhere, that isn't going to intrigue me. What I want to tune in is something a bit different and go, wow, look at that show. Look at how the way they've done that. Look at the fireworks. Look at the lights. Look at everything around.
In the background.
What's that?
Look at them llamas in the background.
Yeah, the llama. Yeah. Why has someone got a llama at the boxing? He's riding a llama into a greenwood. But yeah, I think that's where we've sort of excelled, and that's what makes Fight Camp exciting, is because we've got free reign really to create, whatever we need to within a space, within that space.
Yeah, Frank, I wanted to ask you as well. Sorry about Logan Paul Mayweather. Did you watch it, and what were your thoughts on it?
No,
I stayed up for it. Like,
you're joking. I think differently of you. No, but.
Mightn't have bought it. No, I'm joking.
Quite honestly, I didn't watch it live. I was in a hotel a couple of nights later, and I was flicking through, and it came on. Like, fair play to them if they can make money and people pay for it in any walk of life, whatever you do. Take away, like, if you can make money and people are up for paying for it and watching it, then fair play to you. Can't argue with that. I think where it makes a bit of a mockery, and don't get me wrong, we've done KSI Logan Paul, we've done Anderson Gibb against Jake Paul, but that was essentially two novices, or YouTube novices, fighting each other on a similar level. Like Anderson Gibb, Jake Paul, maybe Jake Paul was better than Anderson Gibb, but it's just like any other fight. Sometimes someone's going to come out on top. But I think here you're looking at the man on this planet who is supposed to be the world's greatest fighter, current day fighter, against a guy who's had one fight and lost it against a fellow YouTuber. Like I say, I've no problem with people making money out of it. That's perfect in anything you do. Like if you can monetize anything you do, great. But I think for the sport of boxing, it doesn't make sense. And I still like Jake Paul. The Jake Paul thing, he drives me a bit mental. Like I have to find him a bit annoying, but each their own. But he's going on a path of, I think he actually wants to become a boxer. So it's no different to me or one of you guys turning around one day and going, don't fancy doing this anymore, so I'm going to become a boxer now. Like, what's the difference? Like, you may not be very good, but so be it. But
it's like a movie star wanting to be a footballer just randomly and just sign him for Man United or something.
Yeah, it's like me signing for Man U next week. It's definitely not going to happen. And if it did, I don't think I'd get in the first team. But you can't stop people from trying to do something they want to do. Like, I have no issue with that. I just think Floyd Mayweather v Anderson Gibb, Floyd Mayweather v Jake Paul makes no sense to me, because if Floyd Mayweather could knock out Logan Paul any second of any round that he wanted to, that's the truth. Yeah. And that's the truth of any, like I was saying the other day, I did an interview and said, Dave Coldwell is about a foot smaller than me, weighs about 6 stone lighter than me. And it's probably the golfing quality between Floyd Mayweather and Dave Coldwell and me and Logan Paul is quite similar in terms of where we're at. Dave Coldwell absolutely could, he doesn't because he's a nice guy, but he could just ruin me.
Yeah.
And that's
it's a random comparison.
It's a great comparison to be fair.
I love that Frank is
now you said that, I'm going to get you to spar around with it. But at least I'm on.
Yeah.
Who would win in the scrap then? Eddie or Dave Caldwell?
Dave Caldwell. Yeah.
Really? Eddie strikes me that he could bang though. I think Eddie versus Jake Paul, like we could market that. We genuinely could. We could put Eddie and Jake Paul in the ring.
I'm just not sure Eddie could make cruiserweight.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We could get a catch weight there.
You and Eddie are looking well. Like, I don't want a job at Matchroom, but I think you're looking amazing. I think you're both beautiful. Like,
thanks, appreciate it.
I've seen you actually. You announced a few jobs today, so
continue for another week or so now. You know what? The Matchroom diaries could track our weight gains and losses.
Yeah. Let's do that.
That may be at the end of each Matchroom diaries. We should weigh in.
Oh, here, do you know what? We actually should, and we'll market that. Here,
all of us.
Well, here, don't know about me. The rest of you can do it. Commercialization of this is epic.
Frank, that's why you're at the top of the game. With things like that, you're just coming up with just out of there, like split second decisions you've made.
That's here. Coco, take a note of that. Remember?
Yeah, no, I actually will. I'll take a note of that. But Frank, honestly, thanks so much for giving us your time and coming on. We really, really appreciate it. And I am going to pester you continuously to keep this up. So I will be.
Some Wow Hydrate next time you come on.
Definitely. Next time you come on. Wow Hydrate.
See, that's not my favorite. I don't mind that flavor. My one's the tropical. So if you're going to send me any,
the tropical,
Well Hydrate like flask there.
Oh yeah, do you not like that? Do you not like that?
I do. That's quite impressive. That is.
We'll get you on.
We can get you one of them set up.
Is this Wow Hydrate involved in this podcast?
Oh yeah. Wow Hydrate sponsor the podcast now.
How did you know?
I know.
Plug them.
Definitely. And Frank, what have they been like to work with yourselves at Matchroom? Because we can see obviously they're on the ring, they're on the ropes and stuff. Has that been a good start to the partnership with them?
Yeah, great partnership. We've been together for quite a while now. I think coming up to a couple of years. And they've got a great product, and they seem to be all over the place. Everywhere you look, there's Well Hydrate. So they're doing a great job of getting a brand out there. And the drink's good as well, which always helps.
It's lovely. Yeah,
Perfect.
it is great for recovery. It helps with a hangover as well. So
I haven't had it after a hangover. I have to try that one.
No, I've heard it actually helps the boxers lose weight. I seen Josh Taylor speaking about it. Was it on Michelle Joy Phelps? They were speaking about it.
Yeah.
They were saying about the losing weight as well. So I think we could use that before we do the weigh-in at the end, and we'll all be coming down. We'll all be.
I'm not sure how effective it is that quick, to be honest, Ryan. I don't think you knock one back and then you just
I guess you try
every day.
Anybody watching, try that though. It does work. 10 minutes, give it.
Frank, before we let you go, I have one more question for you, right?
Yeah.
What's the chances of us seeing AJ Fury before the end of the year, in your personal opinion?
To be honest, I think, there's been so much talk about AJ Fury. I think where it's at now is AJ's got to focus, or both of them. Fury's got to focus on Deontay Wilder, because that is in no way an easy fight for him. We've seen what happened in the first fight where he was put down. He got back up, amazing, but anything can happen. It's heavyweight boxing ultimately. And you could be seeing AJ against Wilder. But I think Fury has time and time again proved everyone wrong. And I think Fury does the business against Wilder this time round. But I think in terms of when you talk about AJ, his focus is on Alexander Usyk, and I don't think it's right for him to take his, he's not going to build his career or focus his career now around anyone else. He's, every fight is important to him, and every fight, getting that win, making sure he's dedicated and 100% on that fight is what's most important. And ultimately, he wants to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So whoever holds that belt, he's going for them. He's not scared of anyone. He's not shying away from anyone. Let's see how he can. Usyk fight, he could knock him out in a round, or it could be a 12-round, back and forth. And I think the key focus is let's focus on those, and then from there we'll see where it ends up. Everyone wants to see it, and I do believe whether it's Wilder, whether it's Fury, we will see an undisputed heavyweight championship of the world soon. But I think there's been a lot of talking about it, and rather than keep talking about it, let them do their work, let us do our work, see where we fall, and touch wood, we can make it happen.
Yeah, because you touched on it earlier about AJ's probably fighting Usyk later in the year, so he's clearly taking it serious and wanting to do a proper camp, while Fury was basically, he was training for AJ and he's fighting Wilder in a couple of weeks, so he didn't really have a full camp looking at Wilder, while you said about AJ's taking it serious and potentially fighting Usyk later in the year. Yeah,
no, look, he knows what, he's been around it a long time now. He's suffered the bad times with the Ruiz loss. He's rebuilt himself, come back, won. He knows how to approach things now, and it was most important that he was 100% prepared for the right fight. And there's no one who takes it more seriously than him and the team. The team he's got around him. So I can't speak for preparing fighters for fights, because I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, and everyone would laugh at me and say, you don't know what you're talking about, which is fair enough. But all I know is, from Anthony's perspective, every fight he's in now he's 100% attention. He's got a great team around him, and he's consistently improving. So whenever that fight comes, you'll see the best Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, well, hopefully he gets over that fight, and we could see him and Dave Caldwell at the end of the year.
I did hear they were going to do Jake Paul. Jake Paul was going to give him a tough day.
Thank you so much for coming on. The first Matchroom, Darius. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a million, Frank. And we'll see you at fight camp. Remember just to keep those 3 ringside seats. Brawl boxing.
No, they're in the box. They're in the box.
Oh no! Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Frank, do you realise that it's always Colin that says this? It's always him.
Yeah, I know. To be fair, I wasn't going to say anything, but now you brought it up. Might have to build like a little suite, like a box in the tree for you. Perfect. That would be quite a good hospitality package. I'm going to think that.
You do that, we'll feed the mamas. No bother.
No, well, Frank, thanks so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure. So we'll keep melting your head going forward. Really appreciate it. Thanks a million,
Frank.
A massive thank you goes to That Prize Guy, who has also sponsored the podcast. That Prize Guy is a company who runs competitions daily on their Instagram and Facebook. They're based in Bangor in Northern Ireland, and they have a range of prizes from Range Rovers to Rolex watches and even 20 grand in cash. If you check out their website at thatprizeguy.co.uk, you can enter any of their competitions there. And if you use our code BRAWL20, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. So thanks for the continued support, lads. It's much appreciated. Well, guys, that's it for our episode with Frank Smith. Join us again next week and we'll be back with another very special guest. Big thanks to Wow Hydrate, who've sponsored the podcast. They've provided me and the lads with some of their protein and vitamin waters, along with electrolyte drinks, which are the best on the market. Thanks for your continued support. We really appreciate it.
As always, we're sponsored by Manscaped, which produce the highest quality male grooming products to people all over the world. Father's Day is coming up, folks, so why not get your dad a razor, nose trimmer, etc. And if you use our discount code BRAWLBOXING, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. So please, everyone, get all over it.
I got so many bills to pay. I tweet way too much. Hell, this is my 5th take of this intro. My dad likes to call that life, but I'd like to call that white girl problems. Met her back in autumn. Every gift I try to get her, she already got them. Messing with the TA, wonder what she taught him. Work her way down, literally to the bottom.